Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, we'll cover a lot of diverse topics. We'll start speaking about the consequences of the draw of Napoli in Champions League yesterday against Barcelona, because you know it, I am absolutely obsessed with the FIFA World Cup for clubs in 2025. Then we will speak about that tactical change, because yesterday we knew who played in Team A, who played in Team B, but we didn't really know who played what kind of position because it was extremely strange. Well, we have the answers. Then we'll speak about the future, speaking about Soulé, Barrenechea, Kaio, Jorge, but also about Nonje, about Huijsen, so remain here, who can be the next one and what will happen with their future. And finally, we'll speak about the guy that I will probably put on the thumbnail, Di Gregorio, because if a few days ago we spoke about carne secchi, Di Gregorio, goalkeeper of Monza, could be the one that can be or a starter or a possible sub next year already in Juventus. So if you didn't see it, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Grazie. And now we start. First of all, wishing the best to Timo Weah. You see it here. The shirt is there. Timo Weah today is celebrating his birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Now we go with the big topic that I wanted to cover first, the one of the draw of yesterday between Napoli and Barcelona in the Maradona Stadium. You see Corriere dello Sport is writing, Napoli c'è. Napoli is there. Look, yes, unfortunately, Napoli is still there. I watched the game yesterday. What a disaster. If you want to know the details, what I really thought about the game, I already uploaded the video on my Football channel where I speak about this, also about Arsenal and the other European news. But I want to just tell you something. It's annoying. It is extremely annoying, that draw. For what reason? Because, you know it, my obsession, I already said in the beginning of the video, is to go and participate to that first World Cup for clubs that will be played in USA in 2025. I really want to participate there for the money, for the exposure, for the fact that knowing that you participate, you will be able to cash in a lot more and invest in the players. Players that know that your club will participate, they will be more attracted by it. There are so many consequences. Now, is it annoying, that draw? Yes, luckily they didn't win, but it is still annoying. Look, at the moment, what is the situation? Inter, they participate. There are 2 clubs per country that participate. Inter, we know it, it is already a done deal. Then Milan is already out of it. Yes, they continue to play in Europe, but not in Champions League, so they can't go over Juve. That is at the moment the one that would qualify. Lazio, yes, they still can, but in order to do that, they need 2 things. One, or they win the Champions League, which at today is extremely difficult, or they win every single game until reaching the final, even if they lose it. But Napoli can't do well anymore. And then we speak about Napoli. That is the real competitor to go or not in that competition. Look, with the draw of yesterday, they won 1 point. If Napoli, they want to overtake Juve, they are obliged to go to the quarterfinals. So if they lose or are eliminated against Barcelona, it's go. We have our ticket in our pocket for 2025. That's good. But if they win over Barcelona, they will have 2 points for the victory, 1 point to qualify to the next round, with 3 points, which means that they would go not over Juve, but they would be distanced only 2 points from Juve. Juve that is at the moment with 47, 42 for Napoli, but I told you if they win and qualify, they would be there at 45. And they have 2 games to actually overtake Juve in quarterfinal. You know it, huh? If they win, it's over for Juve. If they do 2 draws, they have 2 points and are equal to Juve. And what would happen if they draw Juve in the points? 47 points. Well, the one that had the best ranking in the last 4 editions of Champions League, they go through, which means it's Napoli, because last edition they went to the quarterfinal and then they lost against Milan. So we really have to hope that Barcelona would eliminate Napoli, that Napoli would not go through, otherwise it's a real disaster. That's what I tell you. Now, I would tell you it's Barcelona, they will win easily, but yesterday I watched the game, Barcelona was really bad, was extremely bad, and I'm not even sure if they will be able to beat Napoli in their home. I don't know. I would not put my hand in fire for that. Then, the only thing, and then we go towards tactical solution, the future, and so on Juve. The only thing that was really funny, strange yesterday is that we saw Barrenechea, that is the boss of the Super League, that was watching actually a Champions League game yesterday, next to Aurelio De Laurentiis. They were laughing, smiling, they were watching the game together. Strange, eh? What are they cooking? I have absolutely no... I know what they are cooking. We all know what they are cooking. When will it happen? Will it happen? We don't know. Okay, it's time to speak about Juve with what happened yesterday in training session. Tactical change. We knew already who was playing in Team A, who was playing in Team B, but we were a bit confused. Where were the players playing? What were their role? What is Max Allegri testing? Well, the good thing is yesterday in open training session, in front of 400 supporters of Juve, Max Allegri didn't hide. He said, I don't care. Yes, I play open card. We are testing the 4-man defense. We are testing also to play with 3 up front. And that's already a good news. A confirmation from what we were already saying and anticipating a few days ago that is happening. I already told you. I don't care about 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever formation. It is important, but until a certain point. What is more important is that players, they know what they are doing on the field, how they are attacking spaces, how they are filling the void spaces. That's the most important. The will to sacrifice, the will of understanding football, this is most important. But anyway, Juventus, they need a wake-up call, because in the last 4 games, we saw it. Something is broken, something is not working, and we need to try something different. Something that yesterday we were testing. Prima scossa, first shake is the title of Tuttosport. Il Tridente. In front we play with 3, not only with 3. And the first team that we're playing with that pink overshirt, Pinsoglio in the goal, Weah on the right, Kostic on the left, Rugani and Bremer in the center of the defense. In the middle, Locatelli, Miretti, Alcaraz. Up front, Chiesa on the left, Vlahovic in the center as a real number 9, and then Cambiaso, no, not Yildiz, Cambiaso on the right side of the field. And I know you have already a few questions about that formation. Let's first go to the second formation before you go totally crazy. Szczesny into the goal, Fagioli as a right back, Gatti, Jalot in the middle, Ealing Jr. on the left. McKennie, Nicolussi and Rabiot in the middle, up front, Yildiz on the left, Milik up front and Nonge on the right. So I know that the first thing that you will tell me, Beppe, what are we speaking about? What is Max Allegri doing? How is it possible to put Fagioli as a right back? Because that's the first thing that you notice. How is it possible? And then Nonge as a right offensive player. Well, if you're looking at that second team, you see that indeed Fagioli is there, Nonge is there. Why? Because we know it. Alexandro is out at the moment, Danilo is out, so we are quite limited on the right and left back. Not that we had a lot of choices already in the past, but on top of that, when you miss these players, you need to fill the gap there. And Fagioli, we want to give him minutes, we want to include him, to involve him in training sessions so that he keeps that rhythm of training, of being in form for the last game against Monza, and especially for next season, so that it's not just throwing away one season, but on the other side, we know that we can't count on him. And with lacking players, well, Fagioli on the right side is just simply to fill the void, not that he's transforming him in a right back. Well, for Nonge, seeing Nonge there, from what I understand, what does it mean? That at the moment there are a lot of players in front of him to play in that midfield. Yes, Alcaraz is taking actually the lead over Nonge, Miretti, but also Nicolussi. These players are all coming in front of Nonge. So for the people like me that were hoping to see a bit more of Joseph Nonge, forget about it, because also him was used yesterday to fill a gap in these teams. Now, it makes sense to play McKennie, Rabiot and Nicolussi. Why? Because if Locatelli is not there, Nicolussi is the natural sub of Locatelli, and to put Locatelli in that other team. Alcaraz as well, Miretti as well. Locatelli is a starter and he will play with McKennie and Rabiot, but you never know. So testing that out makes sense, and also to not create too much unbalance between Team A and Team B. Miretti as a midfielder, as a regista, could be a solution to also understand, can he do that role? Can he also try to go up centrally on the left and on the right with Locatelli that we don't want to see? Maybe taking him away a bit the habits of going and dropping down in the field. Could be that's why we are testing these kind of things. Then Ealing Jr., we know it. In training session already last year was tested as a left back, same as Kostic. At the moment, and Kostic and Ealing Jr., they never gave 100% guaranteed in that role, but they were tested again. Can we see them again for Frosinone? I don't know. Now, I'm happy that we see these two formations. I'm happy that we maybe can already see them again for Frosinone, but I'm not sure if it will be immediately from the first minute or not, but testing them in front of all the supporters, it's a good thing. Another good news is that, yes, it's a done deal, but we already knew, but just to confirm it and not Dean Huijsen, before going to Roma, he extended until 2028. So it's confirming what I told you yesterday, the day before. Dean Huijsen will come back home in the summer, and then we will decide what to do with him. And normally he should stay at Juventus, which is a really, really good one. For the people that are curious, apparently, he will not choose for the national team of the Netherlands to represent them, but the one of Spain. We know it since a kid. He grew up in Malaga, and that's where he decided to go. I don't know. I don't care. Good for him, good or bad for him. I don't know. Anyway, another thing is that on the market, we already spoke about it, and there are new confirmation by Nicolas Kira. They're saying that Real Madrid is really serious on Cambiaso, and they would have ready an offer of 40 million euro. At the moment, the will of Juve is to keep Cambiaso next season, except if there come a really crazy out of proportion offer, and depending also what the player is saying. But Cambiaso should stay at Juve. What about the other players that are at the moment not at Juve but will be there in the Allianz Stadium on Sunday? Barrenechea, Kaio, Jorge, Mathias Soulé. Well, the sporting director of Frosinone, he did an interview, double page in Tuttosport, where he spoke about the players, and he said actually that that's the backstage story. They are quite nice. That when he went the first time to Juve to speak with Juventus, his only objective was Mathias Soulé. That was the objective to go for. But he was there. Do you remember the game against the Next Gen where we were playing Juventus A against Next Gen, and he saw that hat-trick of Kaio Jorge. For us, we were all happy. Kaio Jorge is back to goal. We will see. And he was really impressed. He said, you know what? I want him as well. Same as Barrenechea. So it was that game, these talks with Juve and so on, that actually was really decisive for the future of Kaio Jorge and Barrenechea. And that's why they went there. Actually, they went there. Barrenechea first, then Soulé, and then at the end Kaio Jorge. Now, what about these players? The sporting director said, Barrenechea, I can guarantee you, he's really strong. We were all thinking that he would have played only in one zone of the field, but actually he can play everywhere. As a midfielder, of course, but he can up, down, left, right. And in now, until 2 years, he will be part of the Argentinian team. So a lot of beautiful words for Barrenechea, also for Soulé. He said, I didn't know, or I didn't think he would have been that ready, but already scoring 10 goals. 1 goal more than Lukaku, I believe, or more than Lukaku, more than a lot of strikers in Serie A in a small team is something really impressive, and hopefully we can have him on that level until the end of the season. Kaio Jorge, he said for him, it was a bit slower, he had a bit more difficulty because he came back from a 2 years injury, but also now he's really proving that I was absolutely not wrong. So these players, do they have a future for Juve? Absolutely yes. Then of course it will be Juve with their sporting management and the coach that will decide if yes or no they will keep these 3 players. What about the future negotiation with Juve? We will do more transactions or negotiation with Juve in the future. Who are these players? Well, he spoke not that much about real names, but he said, you know, one of the names could be Joseph Nonge because he's really strong. He also said about Yildiz. Yildiz is extremely strong, but of course, obviously, no possibilities to have Yildiz to Frosinone next year, but Joseph Nonge could be the one. Well, good one, eh? Good one. Why? Because if I see the progresses made by Barrenechea, Soulé, Kaio Jorge, well, Joseph Nonge that could need a bit of playing time, Frosinone could be ideal for him. Of course, first of all, they need to save themselves. They need to avoid relegation and staying in Serie A. Otherwise, it makes totally no sense. Then he spoke about the fact that he wanted also Huijsen, and he said unfortunately at the end he chose for Roma and he scored against us last time. What about the fact that he silenced everyone? He said he's 18, let him do. We understand that there were whistles from the stadium for an 18 years old boy. It is understandable. And now we go with the topic that probably I've put in the thumbnail. Di Gregorio, the goalkeeper of Monza that Juventus has put in their, remember, that supermarket long list of players that Juventus is observing. A few days ago we were speaking about Carnesecchi. I always told you that I really like Carnesecchi, that is doing a lot of progresses at Atalanta. I can guarantee you that in the beginning of the season Gasperini was not that much confident about Carnesecchi. He was not sure that he wanted even to keep him in his team. He was not really believing in him. And of course, the fact that already Carnesecchi was able to convince Gasperini that he is a starter, it's already a big thing. It shows a lot of maturity, it shows a lot of perseverance, it shows a lot of balls. Let's say it as it is. So great for Carnesecchi that is according to me a great goalkeeper. But if there is another one that impressed me since last season, it is Di Gregorio, 26 years old. He comes from the Inter Youth Academy and one of his idols was Antanovic. Well, the ex-Inter Youth product, he could not say no to Juve if something would happen in the summer. Juventus has put him there, was bought 4 million euro by Monza. Juventus is thinking to go for it. What is the asking price of Monza? It's 20 million euro. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, especially because we have Szczesny, especially because we have Perin. So it's a lot of money that if it goes through, Juventus will try to decrease with maybe a player that could go there. We already did some with Rovella, with Ranocchia in the past, so the relationship between Juve and Monza are quite well. Well, Di Gregorio is a goalkeeper I love. Can go in two ways, or there is the extension with Szczesny, lowering his salary and staying for one more year until 2026 maybe, or maybe if they don't find an agreement, maybe Szczesny could potentially also leave. If he leaves, you lower that salary with Perin and Di Gregorio, depending a bit who is in form, who not, can become the first goalkeeper, with the second one that is a rotational goalkeeper for that first season before really investing in a Di Gregorio. Maybe Perin could possibly also leave, with Szczesny one more year being the Buffon of that time when Szczesny came, you know, the mentor with the younger goalkeeper that is ready there for 1 year. But Di Gregorio, I tell you, it is important. Why? Because Szczesny is already a bit older, Perin a bit older. They are both over 30 years. They still have a few years in their career. Yes, absolutely. But if you can sign already an Italian goalkeeper of 26 that is ready for the next step in his career, I would not be against. I would not be against, because I tell you, he's really a goalkeeper that this season impressed me a lot. It's not my priority today. My priority is the midfield. He's a midfielder. Is to understand who will be the coach. Will it be Max? Will we change the coach? These are my priorities for next season. But if we can already think about a goalkeeper and already starting to prepare to not be unprepared when the moment will hit, well, that would be a good one from Giuntoli, Manna and team. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.